What's up everybody, this is Master Ian Gamer. The brand new Blood Overwatch comic series has just kicked off with its first issue, and in it we get to see Cole Cassidy, aka Jesse McCree, reconvene with an old friend before setting off on a journey to gather a new gang to help out the newly reformed Overwatch. Alongside it, we did get an in-game hero challenge featuring a new epic skin for McCree as well, so I'll be taking a look at that skin and all the other cosmetics added in this event at the end of this video. But first, I wanted to do a quick sort of run through of this new comic, talking about some little interesting details and noteworthy tidbits, as well as my overall thoughts about where this comic series seems to be headed. Oh, and I should mention, if you haven't read the comic yet for yourself, spoilers ahead. So for starters, the comic appears to take place immediately following the reunion animated short where McCree had his encounter with Ash, as we see him still possessing Ash's bike and uses it to get around for the first part of the comic. We also see that he's evidently received a letter which we soon find out was in fact from Anna, asking to meet up to discuss the current circumstances. After Cassidy and Anna reconvene and share some good old memories, Anna then tries to convince him to not only rejoin the newly reformed Overwatch, but also to help put together a crew to help bolster their forces. As they're discussing this, however, they get jumped by several Talon operatives, and an intense firefight in the streets of Cairo ensues. Anna and McCree end up slipping away and end up in one of Anna's secret bases, where she shows him all the data she's been collecting on the circumstances surrounding Overwatch and Talon, as well as some intel she gathered regarding potential new recruits. The comic then ends with McCree setting off in search of the first of these new candidates, which is of course Anna's own daughter, Farah. So while the overall scope of this specific comic is a bit short and simple, I do like that it's actually pushing towards Overwatch 2 by showing not only what's happening to Jesse McCree, but also by setting up what we can assume is the playing out of how characters like D.Va, Zarya, and Farah end up involved in Overwatch. None of these characters have direct ties to the organization, barring Farah, who of course was the daughter of Anna, who was one of the heads of Overwatch, but Farah herself was never actually involved with the organization, so it'll be interesting to see how this ends up playing out to have her brought into the new Overwatch along with other candidates. As I mentioned, specifically the three characters we see being highlighted as who McCree is going to be seeking out are D.Va, Zarya, and Farah. Given that we know there are going to be 5 parts to this comic series, it's safe to say that the bulk of this series will end up covering each of these 3 characters. Part 2, as we see from the end of this comic, is likely going to be focusing on Farah, which means D.Va and Zarya are probably going to be highlighted a bit later on. When it comes to the visuals of this comic series, I have to say I find them to be quite impressive. There's certainly a step up from London Calling, the comic series we got last year, and there's even a number of nice little visual details in this story that I find particularly interesting, such as Cassidy's change in appearance, where the comic starts with him wearing his Overwatch 1 outfit. Midway through the comic, when he meets up with Anna, he's then wearing the Sandstorm skin, which is the skin available as part of the current hero challenge in-game, and then by the end of the part, when he's meeting up with Farah, we can see him wearing his Overwatch 2 outfit. This is just a nice little progression showing Cassidy's own change from Overwatch 1 to the sort of intermediary and then ending up in Overwatch 2, which is a nice little visual detail and not only shows that Cassidy himself is moving over into Overwatch 2, but also is symbolic of the greater change of Overwatch transitioning to Overwatch 2. This is also indicated by the appearance of the Talon units we see during this comic, as they all bear the Overwatch 2 designs of their outfits as seen at BlizzCon 2019, as opposed to the Talon outfits we saw during the PvE archive missions. And finally, on the very last page of this comic, we do get an image of Farah in what, at first, appears to be a brand new skin, but upon closer inspection, appears to just be her security chief skin from in-game. So at the very least, it seems like we might be getting a bit more development to tie that skin into the story directly, but unfortunately, it also likely means we aren't going to be getting like a new skin for Farah with the next issue of the comic whenever that ends up coming out, since, as we saw with last year's London Calling comic series, only the first issue of that 5-part comic actually had a corresponding hero challenge, so it would be nice if they had one for every single issue of this new series coming out, but hey, maybe they'll still do something along those lines, we don't really know. But if you're looking at this Farah outfit at the end of this comic, it doesn't appear to be a new skin. So overall, the first issue of the New Blood comic series, I think, is good enough at what it's supposed to be doing. It serves as a nice little bridge for McCree specifically, and some of the other characters, it seems, when it comes to linking Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2. However, I am a bit concerned that the entirety of this series is only going to be focusing on McCree, Ana, Pharah, D.Va, and Zarya. While these characters certainly make sense in context of the story, since they're, part of Overwatch and Overwatch 2, I do think it would be unfortunate if they don't focus on any new heroes that we don't have yet in-game, simply because, well, if we're only getting one comic series like this a year, just having these sort of piecemeal, sporadic bridges between Overwatch 1 and 2, I don't think is overall that interesting. If Blizzard is going to focus on making story comics for the game, they should be significant. And while I think this is a significant story arc to portray, with Cassidy switching over to Overwatch 2, showing the addition of all these other characters, I'm worried that it's just simply not going to be enough in terms of new story added for the game. If we got this comic series as it is, in addition to, a bunch of other story content that was interesting, and we were getting like a comic a month consistently, on top of other story details, then yeah, I think this series would be absolutely fine based on what it seems like it's going to be. But if it really just comes down to Cassidy recruiting these 3 other characters, then unfortunately, I think it might not play out to be as interesting as we were all hoping, but who knows? For all we know, we might end up getting a new hero teased in one of the later issues, or we'll get some significant unexpected story developments through the series continuing. But for now, I think it's a solid start, definitely starting off better than London Calling did last year, so I'm super excited to see what the next issue ends up holding, and hopefully we won't have to wait too long for it. Before I wrap up this video though, I would like to take a quick look at the new cosmetic items in-game for the corresponding Hero Challenge mini-event. First up, we have Sandstorm McCree, which is the new epic skin. I'll be honest, it's not particularly exciting. I'll give it the fact that it has story ties. As we saw in the comic, this was the outfit he wore when going to Cairo, Egypt to meet up with Ana, so it's cool in that regard. Overall though, not that visually impressive in my opinion, but we did get a number of sprays as well. A Talon Spotted Spray, which is a Talon agent being seen through Ana's scope. T-Break, Back to Back, Cute Bike, Hat Tip, Determined, and Old Friends. So a nice little selection of sprays. I definitely like these cute ones since, these are always fun to have in game. And there is also a Sandstorm skin player icon, which you can unlock as well. And speaking of unlocking these cosmetics, the Sandstorm player icon, new skin, and one of the sprays can be unlocked through just playing the game, as it has been in events in the past. And the other skins can be unlocked by watching Twitch streamers. So if you have a favorite Twitch streamer and they happen to be streaming Overwatch, that's a great way for you to just easily get the rest of the cosmetic items. And yeah, in that regard, it's basically nothing new. It's how past hero challenges have played out for the most part. So yeah, it is what it is. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts on the New Blood comic series by dropping a comment down below. Do you like how the series is starting off so far, or are you maybe a bit skeptical about the direction they'll be going with it? Either way, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe, follow me on Twitter, hit up that bell icon, and come join my Discord server to hang out and never miss any of my future Overwatch content. Special thanks to my YouTube channel members who help make these videos possible, and if you'd like to join them to earn some cool rewards, then just hit that join button down below. Otherwise, this is Master EN Gamer signing off, and until next time, have a great day.